5 months, 38 meetings, 11 hours of consultations and 14 approved amendments later, the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Waqf has submitted its report to the Lok Sabha Speaker. JPC chairman submitted its report to Om Birla and in fact was accompanied by many BJP MPs as well. Opposition MPs who were part of the committee, however, boycotted the meeting. This report was adopted by a majority vote, has 14 amendments which opposition says are all suggested by members of the ruling NDA only. The opposition has thus dubbed this exercise as biased and an attempt to destroy Waqf boards. BJP members dismiss these objections as vote bank politics and insist that the bill seeks to bring transparency, inclusivity and accountability in the management of Waqf properties.
For a very long time, Waqf properties were mismanaged. There was opaqueness in the management of the Waqf properties. These problems have been addressed effectively by the amendments that the government and the members of parliament have introduced in the new bill.
वक्फ बोर्ड में विपक्षी सदस्यों द्वारा लाए गए एक भी संशोधन को स्वीकार नहीं किया गया और सत्ता पक्ष की तरफ से लाए गए सारे संशोधन स्वीकार कर लिए।
इन्होंने वक्फ बोर्ड को बर्बाद करने की पूरी तैयारी की है और ये वक्फ बोर्ड को बर्बाद करना चाहते हैं। मैं बार बार यही कह रहा हूं कि हमें टारगेट किया जा रहा है, खासतौर से माइनॉरिटी के अंदर मुसलमान को टारगेट किया जा रहा है और टारगेट इसलिए किया जा रहा है कि इनके नाम के ऊपर हम नफरत फैला करके पोलराइज कर सकें। बात विकास की नहीं होगी, बात सिर्फ और सिर्फ नफरत की करेंगे।
ये भी एक सस्टेन्ड उस नफरत को आगे बढ़ाने के वास्ते एक सस्टेन्ड तरीकेकार है। चाहे वक्फ बोर्ड का जो बिल है, ये सारे आउटकम है उस नफरत के एजेंडा का, जिस नफरत के एजेंडा के तहत ये पूरे मुल्क में अफरा तफरी रखना चाहते हैं।
Now let's take a quick look at the key amendments made by the JPC. The first is that no cases will be reopened retrospectively. So what happens to those past cases is a question. Disputed government properties are an exception in this particular case. They've also said that there will be a state-level officer to adjudicate disputes. Only one practicing Islam for at least 5 years may declare a waqf is another point that has been made, and also that no waqf by user, which is properties deemed waqf based solely on prolonged use for religious purposes, will be allowed. Now let's quickly in fact run you through the changes that opposition wanted but have not been incorporated in this amendment bill. They have said that don't omit the waqf by user clause. The second point that they have made is that no non-Muslims should be allowed in Waqf boards as well. They've also said that there should be no 5-year practicing Muslim clause that should be included. The fourth point is that they are against the government property not Waqf clause that has been included. And fifth, the collector mustn't arbitrate cases is the point they are making. Let's get into the debate on the other side.
Watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Sanju Verma, Tehseen Poonawala continue from debate number 1, but joining us on the panel are Jyotsna Tirunagiri, who's a national spokesperson of the TDP. With us is Salem Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. But I want to go first and foremost to Advocate Shahid Ali, national president of the Waqf Liberation Movement, who's with us. Advocate Shahid Ali, a number of opposition parties, several of them have come out to say that this amendment that has been proposed is unconstitutional. What in this is unconstitutional according to you?
This is unconstitutional because this is against the basic spirit of constitution. Waqf property belongs to Muslims. Now, by virtue of these amendments, there is a plan to grab all these Waqf properties by the government. See, already Waqf properties, most of the Waqf properties are either grabbed by the government or by miscreants. Muslims are also there undoubtedly, those who have grabbed the Waqf properties. But instead of liberating the Waqf, the government, what government is trying? Government is trying to take over the Waqf. See, Waqf has already been taken over by the government in 1954 when the Waqf Act was passed for the first time, and thereafter this was amended many times. But Waqf properties, since were taken by the government by virtue of this creating Waqf board, why till date no board has been constituted, as our Sikh brothers have, Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. They people have the voting rights. They people have the right to constitute their own body.
Okay.
To run their affairs. But as far as the Waqf is concerned, first of all, the government taking over the Waqf properties by virtue of this creating.
Sir, nothing in what the government has said will be applicable retrospectively. It's only for prospective cases. So therefore, saying that government is trying to grab Waqf property perhaps is taking things a bit too far. But nevertheless, you've raised the question. I want Sanju Verma to respond to that. Is there an attempt to grab Waqf properties? Sanju Verma.
You know, Madhav, for the benefit of your viewers, what exactly is Waqf? It is nothing more than Islamic endowment of property that is held in a trust and is used for religious or charitable purposes. So basically it refers to a Muslim religious or charitable foundation created by an endowment trust. That is what a Waqf is. Now what the Modi government is seeking to do is to first and foremost amend article or rather section 40 of the Waqf Act. Because section 40 of the Waqf Act says that if the Waqf board or the Waqif decides that XYZ is a Waqf property, then no questions asked. If tomorrow the Waqif or the Waqf board decides that Madhav's residence or Tehsing Purawala's residence or Sanju Verma's residence belongs to the Waqf, no questions asked, the property will be taken over by the Waqf. So first is amendment of section 40. Second is amendment of section 85, which actually is very draconian and was passed under the previous Congress regime in 1995 and was strengthened in 2013, which basically says that the Waqf tribunals have the powers akin to a civil court, and if there is any dispute relating to a Waqf property, then the matter will be decided by the Waqf tribunal, and no court in India, the law of the land does not apply to Waqf tribunal. It is a law unto itself. So we are seeking to amend, secondly, section 85 after section 40. And last but not the least is section 18, 1(8) of the Waqf Act, which gives sweeping powers to the Waqf committee and says that if the Waqf committee decides that it has to spend, say, 500 or 600 crores that have been monetized from a Waqf property for XYZ purpose, it need not be a charitable purpose. No questions asked. The end use of the property and its proceeds.
Let me bring in Selam Dharnidharan now. Selam Dharnidharan, it is to prevent misuse of the Waqf powers that were granted in previous regimes is the position that the BJP has taken. But in these particular amendments, you know, several aspects, for instance, when it is on issue of inheritance, if the Waqf's opinion is going to be sought on a matter which is, you know, civil in nature, doesn't this grant a say? Where is the question of the Waqf's powers being eroded in that sense?
See, firstly, Madhav, any rule, it depends on who has the power. BJP as a party, we have seen how they have ruled and how they are against the minorities and against the majority of the Hindus itself, right? So BJP as a party comes to power by creating communal violence. That's why I think all this act is nothing to do good. It's only to create or disrupt communal harmony. I'll tell you the problem here. Gujarat BJP government goes and gives away temple land to real estate agents to build mall. And then who files a complaint against the Gujarat BJP government? It is the Vishwa Hindu Parishad itself in the High Court. And High Court got the land back and gave to the temple. No, I'm coming. So
what's the connection?
BJP's intent is not to safeguard anything. They want to create communal disharmony. But my problem is, you are saying district collector or district magistrate will do liaison, or who will decide on property belongs to whom. My question is, district collectors are controlled by the ruling party or the chief minister. In BJP ruled state, we have seen how undemocratic they are towards minorities. So it will be, for example, in a state like Uttar Pradesh.
That's a sweeping statement to make, Selam Dharnidharan, that if the power is with the collector, then they will automatically be persecuting minorities. I think that's a sweeping power to make. And there are states, enough states where opposition leaders are in power.
Let me bring in the country. There's nothing to laugh about it. That's what is happening in the country. We know. I'm talking in a pragmatic manner. We have seen what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. Houses have been bulldozed. We have seen Supreme Court
verdicts. Let's discuss the provisions of the amendment, sir. You're talking in general terms. That's fine. You have every right to bring in, parallels from different parts of the country. But let me take that question that you make to Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri. Jyotsna Tirunagiri, is what the DMK spokesperson saying? He says, I'm talking about what happens practically on ground. There is provision for misuse because the collector is nothing but a voice of the power at the level of the state government in that sense. How is it possible that it will not be misused is his question.
Madhav, I'll just put in some figures. I don't know, how come Selamji or somebody else might forget it. But again, I'm not getting into the amendments as such now, Madhav, because I think it's a draft one. Until and unless it is put before the House, I wouldn't consider it the final one. It has to come before the House. First thing is the Joint Parliamentary Committee that was constituted on, I think, August 9th last year, had almost 36 sittings so far. They met almost 25 Waqf boards. They spent almost 111 working hours in it. Deliberations for working hours and deliberations. And also, representatives, they have met around 15 state representatives. I'm talking numbers, Madhav. I'll tell you why am I talking numbers. Because in total, Waqf Board, JPC has received 92.38 lakh emails from different stakeholders. So you want me to ignore all this? First question. And then again, total number of the members in the JPC were 31. I'll give you my own example. We had a member from our party, Mr. Lal Sri Krishna Devarailu, who didn't even miss a single minute of those deliberations. I'm talking about 111 hours, 111 hours there of deliberations, and our party MP and the representative from our party in the JPC did not miss a single minute. And we went there. We said there are certain amendments that need to be done, and this is the reason. And also, I believe, Madhav, most of us know when there is a proposal in the JPC that's put up, majority counts, Madhav. Definitely, it's not just going to simply be passed because Jyotsna or Madhav or let's say Sanju or somebody else has talked about it. Come on.
Two very valid points.
We are talking about a committee which has been formed, and my only point is we are discussing on people who, they threw bottles, they actually created ruckus. They did not wanted to talk to the stakeholders.
Okay, it was ruckus for the sake of ruckus. Yeah, you made number of points there, ma'am. Let me just bring in Tehseen now. Tehseen, it was ruckus for the sake of ruckus. Any parliamentary system or any parliamentary committee works on proportional representation, and it is majority that has the final say. That's how democracy works. Point number one. Point number two, is it fair to say this when there were 38 meetings, consultations with over 250 stakeholders, yet you have leaders like Congress leader Imran Masood who say that the report is based on their agenda. They were planning a conspiracy to destroy the Waqf Board. Muslims are targeted, hatred has been spread and also caused polarization. Is it fair to say that?
Let me answer that last, but let me first correct a couple of points. The TDP spokesperson, she took credit for the amount of emails that came in. Yet it was the BJP leader and the member of parliament and member of the JPC, Waqf, Nishikant Dubey ji, who said, listen, all these emails flooding the Waqf are from Pakistan or from abroad, and this is a conspiracy against India. You can't on one hand attack the emails and then once the JPC is done, take credit for the emails that were flooding you. It doesn't work both ways. Now let me support my friend from the DMK and the speaker from the DMK. There is a legitimate fear that if government is fighting its own case and government is claiming land, and that land the government has an exception to claim, as is the clause that has been put here by the majority and accept the majority clause, then whose nominee is the collector? It is the nominee of the government. Now let me come to what Sanju said. All tribunals in India are quasi-judicial, and you know this, Madhav. All tribunals, whether it's the Telecom Tribunal, whether it's the NCLT Tribunal, and they have powers of the judiciary. And against all tribunals, including the Waqf Tribunal, you can go to the High Court. And you can go to the Supreme Court. And there were people in Madhya Pradesh set up cases to create headlines, claiming Taj Mahal, claiming some other thing in Madhya Pradesh, and they got a kick in the High Court. And who appointed those members? The BJP. It's in government in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. They set this up.
You're saying all those cases, sensational cases, were all headline hunting.
They were done. Can any sane person claim the Taj Mahal? And the High Court kicked them out.
There are people on record who even claimed the parliament for that matter, Tehseen. But Sanju Verma, these are all headline hunting, headline grabbing, publicity attempts. Perhaps the indication is that they were being done by the BJP or one of those who support you.
And it also throws away the claim that you can go to a higher court.
May I please come in here?
Sure.
Thank you. With no offense to Tehseen, I think he's got his facts wrong once again as always. Yes, tribunals in India are by and large quasi-judicial. But what makes the Waqf Tribunal different from any other tribunal in India, say the Telecom Tribunal, is that finally, in case of a dispute not being settled, the tribunals have the power to approach the court, whereas the Waqf Tribunals do not even have the basic right to approach a court. They say that if the Waqf Tribunal decides that Jyotsna's house belongs to the Waqf Board or Tehseen Poonawala's house belongs to the Waqf Board, baat wahi khatam ho jati hai. There is no higher civic authority that you can even appeal to. That is the basic difference. But Madhav, very quickly.
Just one
to
second.
the DMK spokesperson, please, Madhav, allow me at least 30 seconds.
Sure.
Yeah, make your
The
point.
DMK spokesperson says, please, can I please?
Yes,
The
yes,
DMK
make your point.
spokesperson said, the DMK spokesperson said BJP is a communal party. Need I remind him that Udayanithi Stalin's case is still sub judice with the Supreme Court? Udayanithi Stalin, the Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, the son of N.K. Stalin, had the audacity to say that Sanatan Dharma is equal to dengue, leprosy, malaria, COVID, so on and so forth. 82% plus of the population in India is that of Sanatanis, और इनके डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर बैठकर सनातन धर्म को गालियां देते हैं और इनके प्रवक्ता बैठकर बीजेपी को कम्युनल बोलते हैं. You should be ashamed. Look at the mirror.
Okay, let's get back to the Waqf, please. Let's get back to the Waqf because there are a number of questions being raised. All right, the DMK spokesperson wants to come in. We have very limited time. Very limited time. Yeah,
Madhav, I think Sanjeev Verma diverted the topic because she does not have lines to defend. I'll tell you this. I have come on a debate and explained what our Deputy Chief Minister clearly meant. He said he wants equality in Hinduism. That is why he was against some certain aspects in Sanatan Dharma which discriminates people. He was speaking against Sanatan Dharma only for...
But then if you believe the BJP was communal, why did you ally with them during Mr. Vajpayee's time, sir?
A second more important point I want to make is that you want to have non-Muslims in the Waqf board.
You haven't answered my question.
One line.
Okay, okay, there's limited time. So Tehseen, very quickly.
The Waqf Tribunal can be challenged in a high court if a party is dissatisfied with tribunal's decision. The high court can also examine the records of a dispute and confirm, reverse or modify. This is Times of India. You may please fact check me. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that point of detail later. But
obviously we can go to a high court.
One second. Advocate Shahid Ali, simple question to you today. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board has issued a letter where it has stated that government should not test the patience of Muslims and should refrain from leading the country towards autocracy. It further says that if needed, we may come on the streets or go to jail for this cause and we won't hesitate to do so. You have an SP MP Mohibullah who has come out to say कि ऐसा ना हो जनता सड़क पर आ जाए. Now what kind of language is this, sir? On a bill that has been adjudicated by Parliament, why would you want to ask people to come out and hit the streets in this manner? Isn't that inciting people?
People of India cannot allow autocracy to come into force. People of India will not allow. I am talking about all. Now, a particular political party, on the basis of strength in parliament, they want to take over everything. In fact, where is the government? Where is the democracy? Democracy has been snatched by this political party. So India has to come on roads, absolutely, ultimately, because the power lies with people, and if people's power is being misused by particular political party, then the people ultimately will come on roads.
Where is the misuse, sir? Has the parliamentary procedures not being followed in this case?
So parliamentary procedure is being misused. If someone is misusing, so ultimately power lies with people.
Of course, power lies with the people, but how is parliamentary procedure being misused? Explain to us.
If a particular political party is acting like they are the king,
okay,
or they have
Professor Jyotsna, has parliamentary procedure been misused? Has it anti-democracy, he says?
Madhav, I put forwarded before you the entire statistics, number of hours that the JPC has worked, everything. My question is, just because you don't like it, you call it anti-parliamentary? First question, sir. Just because you don't like it. And Madhav, is this the first time? Let's assume, okay, today we have NDA government. Earlier governments also, they brought in so many changes. Everything was in their favor itself. Shall we call it that way? Is it how the democracy works?
Well, democracy works both ways. There are some decisions that perhaps people will not like. At the end of the day, the point is that is the democratic procedures being followed, not being followed is a question raised by opposition. Of course, we'll have to see what happens during the course of the debate when this issue does come up before the Parliament. Sanju Verma, Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, Tehseen Poonawala, Salem Dharnidharan and Advocate Shahid Ali, thanks so much for joining us this evening.